Delmar Drive. Who you gonna call? Delco Live! A masthead freak on Baltimore Pike. Who you gonna call? Delco Live! I ain't afraid of Chesco. I ain't afraid of Montrose. A Luther trip on Monday night. Who you gonna call? Delco Live! Lost Bears and trolley stop fights. Who you gonna call? Delco Live! Let me tell you something. Dumping makes me feel good. Delco Live! Louder, I can't hear you. Al's got diabetes. Who you gonna call? Delco Live! Dropping shit himself. Who you gonna call? Delco Live! Who you gonna call? Delco Live! Fort Mifflin, Pennsylvania, the birthplace of freedom, home of the airport, cheesesteaks, and full-fledged debauchery that we declared ourselves independent to do from the English. Porta potties galore as they exit the new EDM facility that is Fort Mifflin. So anyway, we're here at Fort Mifflin in right outside the airport, you know, because there's one thing that we know about the Revolutionary War is it was definitely an air-based war. It was actually the first one. The Red Baron was shot down by Snoopy right over there. And then, you know, there's all sorts of airliners coming in, some from the, you know, old lands like Europe and the new lands like South America. These are old ones?
These are really old. These are, I believe, the early 1700s. They're Spanish. They're bronze. They came over as spoils of war after the Spanish-American War. And they were originally displayed.
Who won the Spanish-American War?
Did you take history?
No, there's an event tomorrow called Are You Smarter Than a Community College Dropout? I need to catch up on as much as I can.
So, so they came over and they were displayed in front of Memorial Hall.
Where's that?
That's in Fairmount Park. The Police Touch Museum.
Understood. The zoo.
Well, sort of. So
It's the zoo.
You don't expect them there. They're really out of context. So even though they have nothing to do with the battle that was fought here, at least at a fort, you expect to see artillery pieces.
Have any of the airplanes ever thought they were anti-aircraft fire?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
That's good. Are they active?
No.
Okay, good, because I'm standing in front of one.
Right.
But I also don't like my life, so it's like whatever happens.
So this one,
it looks rather similar to the other one, but smaller.
very similar. But if you,
That's how I
you need
clean.
it better.
That's how I clean my Beretta as well.
So there's
I usually just stick my head in and put my eye into it.
So there's remains of a bird's nest in there. Watch out, they go peck your eye out or something.
I have glasses for a reason. I've learned my lesson. What is your name?
My name's Beth Beatty.
And you are from?
I'm from, where do I live?
Yeah.
I live in Cherry Hill.
Oh, good for you.
I'm a Jersey girl.
Good for you. And what is your official title here?
Executive Director.
Fort Mifflin?
Correct.
Or like Fort Mifflin Ghost Tours, or?
Fort Mifflin on the Delaware is the official name of the organization.
Is a majority of your business ghost tours?
No.
Okay. Is it a majority of it like school tours?
No, it's really very dispersed. we have a robust, like general public visitation.
Okay.
We do scouting programs.
Ooh.
We do school programs. We do the paranormal tourism, and we do candlelight ghost tours.
Candlelight ghost tours. How romantic. The ambiance.
It's great. We actually have a tarot reader and a psychic. We have a little pop-up bar from Warehouse on Watts.
You have a pop-up bar, eh?
Yes.
Is it popped up now?
It is not.
Darn.
It is
How
not.
often do you have such music festivals?
Yeah.
Well, that's a once-a-year thing.
Oh, okay.
So we gotta wait like 51 weeks for it.
You got time.
Making time. Like these ghosts made time to defend our freedom from England.
No, I don't think the ghosts were fighting during the festival.
Maybe why it took so long.
I mean, I've been to these festivals. There's always fighting going on. I would want to fight with
No, I have to say, the people who came everybody was really nice. Everybody generally respected the space. They were happy to be here. It looked really super cool.
The first time I saw an airplane take off when I was on Mali, it was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So these cool cats had a great time. All right, so Fort Mifflin opened when?
Opened like as a tourist?
No, like when was this?
Well, the fort was built by the British in 1771 to
And-
defend Philadelphia.
Well, it didn't work out well for them.
Well, yes, it did actually.
The British.
The British.
I don't see any tea and crimpets anywhere. I don't think it worked out too
The
well
British
for them.
actually occupied the city of Philadelphia in November of 1777.
I mean, Vikings fans occupied Philadelphia for one day in January 2018, and it didn't work out well for them either.
Well, that's true. You never know if Philly fans are Philly fans, right?
Yeah.
So the British built the fort in 1771.
Ignore that demonic, evil flying bird.
They got it started. They got about 2/3 of the way finished, and they ran out of money. So they abandoned it, left it about 2/3 finished. But the Americans garrisoned it before the American Revolution.
What does garrisoned mean?
They staffed it up with soldiers.
America.
America.
So we literally just like walked in and just imposed our will?
Well, they had British had abandoned construction.
Oh, okay.
So Benjamin Franklin convenes a committee of safety in Philadelphia. They realized that, hey, Fort Mifflin might be on a marshy piece of ground, almost drowned at high tide, but strategically, it's in a great location. So let's go up on the top of the wall. And I'll show you.
Hold on. So, like, geographically, this is, like, logically, geographically, it's good, but geographically with the Earth,
It's
this
terrible.
why did we build the airport there then?
Well, the airport came much later.
I know, but
and,
still.
and many airports are built on fill, too.
Yeah, it's true.
Cameron. Cool. Was everybody like 3 feet tall back in the day?
Yeah, dude, they were short up until like
They were not. They were about the same size we are.
A gentle incline.
These are
One of my nemesis.
The ghost, he can do it. The stairs, different story.
Stairs are my English garrison. We're at the top of Fort Mifflin right now.
We're on top of the walls.
Okay, were the English actually garden gnomes? Because this is a rather short, like, corridor. Could the English not jump?
Like I'm not following the question.
It's very short. It's only about like.
The walls are 14 feet tall.
Really?
Yes. 12 to 14 feet.
Did they not have ladders
They did.
or step stools?
Forts are historically, most forts are designed in a star shape after Vauban, who's a French military engineer.
Ooh.
And you could breach one part of a star point, but still the defenders would have easy access. So it's architecture as a defensive solution.
So this is star shaped when we look at a map, like above.
It's not symmetrical,
Okay.
but you can see, if you stand here, you can see the zigzags. See the points?
Ah,
And the
okay.
gray stone at the bottom of the walls, that is original to the British construction.
I dot the I in my name with a star. It's very somewhat like this, where it's not symmetrical, but it's still very pretty. It makes you feel good. Yeah.
Feel like a military engineer.
You know, I really,
Feel
yeah.
like you fortified your name.
I do. Can you please tell my dad that? Because he thinks I'm a failure. All right, so tell us more about these 14-foot walls. So it's shaped like a star to keep the British out.
So
We have
the-
snake heads and a moat.
So the Americans garrison it in 1775. In 1777, George Washington's getting defeated at Brandywine. He loses at Paoli. The British occupy the city of Philadelphia. He loses again at Germantown.
Nick Foles got traded to the Rams. It happens.
You know,
Sometimes you got to fail before you lose.
Sometimes in Philly. So Washington wants to go out to Valley Forge, but he knows that the British would love to pursue him, but they can't because they're out of supplies. But their supplies are coming up the river, and 250 vessels of war and transport, the mightiest navy of the 18th century world. And
The English?
Yes.
Ha! How they've fallen.
So Washington tells the garrison here to hold to the last extremity, like, or else. So they mount an incredibly heroic, historic defense. The greatest bombardment of the American Revolution. It's a 5-week siege, culminating in this 6-day bombardment, 1,000 cannonballs an hour raining down inside the little fort. Ultimately, the Americans can defend it no longer, and they evacuate, but they leave the flag flying. So the fort was defeated, but never surrendered.
Those British and their etiquette, they can't even get it right. So wait, explain this fort. So you're saying that we're going after the Navy, which I assume is coming through, probably not the moat, but maybe the gigantic river there.
The river, the Delaware River.
The Delaware, was it called that back then?
Yes, it
okay,
was.
okay. The English didn't have a fancy name for it? Like Tristanbury Lake or some shit?
No, Delaware River. It's the Delaware River.
Okay, and so this place is just shooting sporadically, just cannonballs.
250 ships, like massive British ships, out in the water. And then they build floating batteries, which are cannons on rafts. They have...
That's like lasers on sharks.
Yeah, they have batteries on adjacent land. So all trained in the fort was surrounded on 3 sides at the end. Like
Okay.
all incoming. And...
But George Washington's goal was, let's just shoot at them, and they'll stop and just fight.
Well, the goal was to delay their arrival in Philadelphia, because once they show up with supplies, the British Army's going to pursue Washington.
Oh, so they came in south and were going north?
Yes.
Oh.
Because the British are in the city.
And they drive on the other side of the road. It makes
and
sense.
it's all backwards, right?
Yes, yes,
So
okay.
in between here and Fort Mercer, which is our sister fort on the other side of the river.
Are they weaker than us?
Who?
Fort Mercer.
No, they lasted longer than Fort did.
Yeah, because they're in Jersey. No one wants to go there. Look at the crossing the Delaware.
Don't be
George Washington was trying to come over here, and he said, I'm not paying $5 to cross that.
George Washington crossed the Delaware in the other direction.
To go to New Jersey?
Yes.
Wait, really? Yo, I'm not going to do well at this. Are you smarter than a community college dropout?
This is going to be a problem.
Wait, he really went from, like, Yardley to Trenton? Not the other way around?
Right.
Hey, he didn't have to pay a toll either way. I was half right.
Doing a skirt.
Wait, who was he fighting?
There was no
Who was he? Wait, oh, wow, really? Oh, wow. And also, you ever been up there? It's like 15 feet.
The Delaware River, in general, is narrow and shallow.
Okay.
So it's difficult to navigate because you're not motoring up in a boat. You're in a massive sailboat, and you have to tack, so zigzag. The shipping channel is really narrow, and it comes very close to this side of the river.
Gotcha. Do you think that Michael Phelps could swim from here to Fort Mercer?
Yes.
Oh, he could?
Absolutely.
Even though the tide looks pretty aggressive right
Well,
now.
I mean, the storm's rolling in. You got white caps.
Oh, that's right. There's a hurricane. Forgot about that. I didn't know about that till yesterday. What's this garden going on over there? Is that a bunch of lily pads? Do you have frogs?
It's a moat.
It's a moat.
It's a moat. The fort's surrounded on all sides by a moat.
By a moat. Do
By a moat.
they felt a moat was necessary even though we're next to a very powerful river?
Well, it goes all the way around the fort.
Is the water coming in from the river?
Yes, it is.
Ah, so it is also deadly and toxic.
Yes.
That'll teach those damn British.
Full of snakehead fish too.
The ones that can walk?
Yep.
Oh, take that, England!
We're scared of
They eat our.
Wait,
children.
really? I thought we were supposed to kill those on sight.
Yeah, if you catch them, you should, but we don't allow fishing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a fort. You can murder them. So at any point, like, a fish can just walk right out of there and just bite our ankles?
Well, if it's a snakehead, you take your chances.
Yeah. That is good to know. Is that what it says on that plaque down there?
No.
Okay. That's the prettiest moat I've ever seen.
Yeah, the fort is surprising on many levels. We have all kinds of interesting nature and environment. We have a beach along the Delaware River. We have a nature trail. We've got all kinds of wildlife. It's a cool place.
So this was active during the Civil War.
Yes, it was. It was a prison during the Civil War.
Prison?
Yes.
before where we would store the Confederates. We bring them up here and store them.
And Philadelphia was a hotbed of desertion. There were a bunch of Union prisoners here too.
There's traitors. There's traitors to the blue. Those jerks.
Political prisoners. People from a group called the Fishing Creek Confederacy, which was
The Fishing Creek Confederacy, were they out here to kill snakeheads?
No.
I think we should be more
Snakeheads
active on
weren't
that
here
too.
He's like, crazy snake.
No, I'm more concerned
He's
with the
on-
stairs.
He's not come off the water yet. He's like,
I'm more upset about the stairs than the snakes. Or sorry, the snake heads. So during the Civil War, there was the Pony Express, right? Like that brought the mail back and forth.
Well, I don't know if it was called the Pony Express during the Civil War.
Did these soldiers that were getting their mail delivered by the Pony Express, did they ever think that there'd be a UPS delivery depot right there?
I'm sure they never anticipated UPS.
You know, the things that'll happen. FedEx, UPS. What can Brown do for you today? We're trying to get sponsored by UPS.
These all had cannons on them.
Was it to shoot down those pesky Delta 747s?
No. The airport frowns on it if we fire an aircraft.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Bin Laden.
So the fort's on every list of the most haunted sites in the country. Want to go see some hot spots?
Obviously.
All right, let's do it.
Was this exhibit sign here during the war?
No.
Okay. That's good to know. Oh, look at how dainty their hats were. Is that England? Were there a fancy drum and all that? Did anyone at the EDM concert come out with a drum like that and just go?
Nope.
Missed opportunity. Missed opportunity.
like, major.
We can help with the marketing next year, and I think I know what the first plan we're doing. Oh, look at this.
You guys go first. I'll take the rear. Not
Okay, so we're going in.
We're
Some
going in.
hot spot.
It's a hot spot.
Is that a keg for gunpowder, not beer? Damn it. Did Thomas Edison come down here and install these light bulbs himself? There's no like steps or anything to trip on. We are in the wine cooler.
Powder magazine.
The Powder magazine.
It's the third generation powder magazine. It's built by 1867.
So after the Civil War,
Yes.
just ready for the World War I, 60 years later.
Well, the fort was an active military installation.
And they stored all the ammo down here.
Yes.
All right, what exactly were they using as of? So this is third generation.
Right, so this replaced two previous powder magazines.
This is stronger than the previous two?
It's larger.
Larger. In 1862, what were they using? Cannonballs, muskets,
And powder.
powder.
Powder, black powder. So this is one of our paranormal
Black powder.
hotspots. And this is where you might encounter the unknown tour guide.
Oh,
So we only tell stories that we believe to be true.
yeah, tell us more.
And the way we decide what's true and what we'll share is like multiple people have to experience the same or similar spirit in the same location of the fort. And then we pass that all through the lens of our documented history and ask, does it make sense?
Okay.
So like if 10 people said they saw a monster come out of the moat, we're not going to tell anybody that because it doesn't make any sense. But
It could be all sorts of things. Southwest
be.
Philly's right next to us.
exactly, who knows what's in our moat?
Right.
Right, I mean, I don't actually really want to know.
The snakehead fish are like not even top
Not
10
even, no,
things
no.
I'm worried about.
No, the bottom of the moat is like 18 inches of boot-sucking mud, and under that, who knows? Like, I actually don't even really want to know. So in here, we've had a couple of people who have come to visit us during the day when we don't have guided tours. And you go up and check in, you get a map, you're told to explore, come back if you have questions, and on 2 separate occasions, these groups come back and say, thank you so much. The tour guide in the powder magazine, the Revolutionary War soldier, knew so much about the siege. So they're not only seeing this entity, but they're actually interacting with it. So,
You mean that guy right there?
So
Sorry.
a few years ago, we did a World War II event, and generally speaking, reenactors are not necessarily people that you would think would be big believers in the paranormal, but I'm standing back by the blacksmith shop chatting with someone who says, I gotta tell you what happened last night. I was standing where we are, and my buddy was standing by the powder magazine, and it looked like he was talking to a Revolutionary War soldier. And when I called his name, the Revolutionary War soldier vanished. So I asked this guy, I said, have you ever heard of the unknown tour guide? He says, no, what's that? So without the power of suggestion of knowing the story, he validates the presence of the same spirit in the same location.
Dang.
Pretty cool.
This would be dope as a concert venue. The acoustics are pristine.
It's pretty crazy.
What's the little cut through up top?
Ventilation. And,
Oh, for the powder keg.
and I will show you, all the walls are hollow.
All the walls are hollow?
So I could smash out of this?
Is that an English thing? Was that their way of saving money for the Queen?
Yeah, well, you need to keep your powder dry, so you need ventilation. And you also need insulation in case of stray explosion.
Understood. So astute.
So there have been people in here
Oh, so you got electricity and everything. You could totally make this a concert venue.
who have gone along that back wall and said they feel like something is not right back there.
It smells like Marlboros. Yeah, or Newports. When was the last time there was powder keg in this room?
Possibly very early 20th century.
Okay. Okay. It still has the smell of it. Unless someone was.
It actually feels like, it smells like.
There was incense in here over the weekend.
Oh, was this like open during the whole festival?
Yeah, they actually had an installation in here. They allowed 5 people in at the time. There was like a little art music chill out thing in here.
Oh, see, that seems really cool, actually.
Yeah, it was a very creative use of the space. They
Yeah.
did a lot of really super cool stuff.
Oh, I'm coming next year.
They ever what?
Been banned from Fort Mifflin, besides the English?
No, we welcome everyone.
Are the English allowed?
Yes, we actually have British visitors all the time. They want to come to the site of a victory.
I heard Jack Osborne was here recently.
Yeah.
He's
About a year
English.
ago.
And you guys were like, cool, like, we forgive you from like,
Yeah,
you know,
he was-
this
he
whole
was-
thing.
Jack did a really cool, like, sensory deprivation thing in Case May 11.
Oh, are we gonna pass that on our tour?
Oh, we usually don't take a tour down
Okay.
Is there, can you tell me
Come
what
back later and break
there.
in.
It's very small. It's very,
You sold.
it's very small. It's
Kerri,
very
you're going in there.
confined, and some people have a physical response to the space, so you can't take a group in there and have someone who's all the way in the back have a little freak out and need to leave quickly. So you can go in, but it's a explore
But you may not come out.
risk.
All right, what?
So
Unless you have more about this place.
I want to go to the place I think is the creepiest place in the whole fort.
Obviously. I've been to Tony's before.
Who doesn't?
All people are like, oh, why is it all covered with plants and stuff? The most common response is like camouflage. But
Okay.
were there aircraft in
Back then?
1867?
There could have been a wayward balloon.
So it's not camouflage; it's insulation in case of a stray explosion.
Ah, from the boats that they decided to bombard.
Yeah, in case somebody went in there, smoked a cigarette, and oh, I forgot we're in a powder keg.
So wait, the English started building this. The King George or whatever said, well, I want more money. I'm not going to finish that
No,
silly
King George
thing.
did not say. John Montresor, who was working on it, said, "I need more money," and King George said, "You're out of luck."
Oh my goodness. Way to sign your own death certificate,
And
England.
So Montresor said, as your grant is contracted, so must be your works.
Oh.
So,
Those are fighting words where I come from. Darby. These, is this for beheading?
no, it's a cannon. Okay, that's the creepiest thing in the fort today.
Nah, I am.
I don't know, I'm saying Holbrook's here.
The powder keg?
It is a magazine, so it's going to be the same kind of zigzagging entrance.
Okay.
This is the torpedo magazine.
Are we in the Shire?
Wait, what is this again?
This is the torpedo magazine.
The Torpedo Magazine.
How did you think a torpedo was a thing then? No, until like, I don't know, World War II maybe?
We're going into Frodo's bunk at the Shire. Second breakfast, my liege. Ooh.
What
I don't know, but I'm not holding this over it. Where's that go?
Into the water. So when this was built, torpedoes were not self-propelled underwater bombs. They were more like contact or electrically detonated. So you would move them out into the river on a chain or a wire. But this goes.
So they basically
into
just
the
throw
water.
They're like mines, so they...
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
So this is one of the earlier sites testing that. So this was about 1874. And I don't like this. This is the room that I find creepiest for some reason.
Is it just a feeling, or is it like...
Just a feeling, and I'm not particularly sensitive to the energy.
A lot of women have that feeling next to me.
I have this feeling whether you're here or not. So.
That's good.
You want to turn the light out, see what it looks like?
Yes.
It's dark. Let's do it.
Oh, Kerri, we're playing. Turn the lights out. Play Who's in My Mouth again.
Okay, is everybody cool? I'm gonna turn it out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Al has that giant light on. No, that's fine. It's good. I mean, it's pitch black except for that daylight coming in, but. Do people die in here? They get hit by the British?
Well, this wasn't here. Nothing that's here was here when the
That
fort
makes
was
sense.
under siege. What the British didn't destroy, the Americans burned on the evacuation. So
Mm.
everything was constructed after the siege and bombardment in 1777.
Gotcha. The scorned lover. If I can't have her, no one will. So they burn it down their way out.
Yep.
Nice. So,
A Holbrook leaves in those bars.
yeah. What do you mean 2 a.m.'s last call? If I can't have it, no one will. So this is to shoot torpedoes at ships in the Civil War.
After the Civil War.
After the Civil War. Who was starting a ruckus back then?
This is a military installation into the 20th century.
So they did a lot of testing here, and okay, gotcha.
So we were just blindly shooting
And there
torpedoes.
were even anti-aircraft batteries here during World War II. So if you think about it, the Navy Yard
Yeah.
is just north of it, so that this would be defending the Navy Yard.
When did it officially become no longer military?
It was decommissioned in 1954.
Oh, wow.
So in between all of these periods of active service were periods of complete disregard.
Yeah.
So this is one of the ways we say that there's layers of haunting. So there was the death during the siege and bombardment. There was people who lived here during the yellow fever epidemic. There were people who were imprisoned here who died during the Civil War. There was death by firing squad. There was death by hanging. There's reports of 2 people freezing to death on the other side of the gates. It was used during the 20th century, and in between this, it's a remote location. You guys had to drive here, right? It's in the middle of nowhere, next to the airport, in the middle of nowhere, all at the same time. So in between these periods of active and documented use are periods of complete disregard. So we don't know what happened.
So this is essentially like a mothball fleet, but as a fort.
Well, there were periods where there was no activity, no documented activity here. So who knows?
Do you think that when Russia invades next week that we will reactivate this place?
I'm thinking no.
Most of them are pretty small. They couldn't get over the 14-foot walls. And it's pretty well
The
camouflaged.
fort's pretty well outdated.
I don't know. We thought it could protect it
Well,
from World War
maybe
II.
they'll mobilize the spirits.
Yes! Take that, Russia.
Yeah.
Our ghosts are coming for you.
We double dare you.
So the English, they actually used to call these dory lugans, otherwise known as glory holes.
We're gonna just keep going down. We're gonna go down to Casement
Cool
5.
mirror.
Wait, what
Yeah,
is
we
this?
had a really, that's kind of set up as a tavern.
Oh,
And there's like a
sold and
mirror
sold.
with some lanterns and a deer skull that we keep behind the bar, but they cleaned that up.
Since when did they clean
Was
up
that actually a lantern though at one point? Or sorry, a tavern at one point?
It was the bake oven, which was the 19th century mess hall.
Okay. So they would get all tuned up on alcohol here?
No, they would bake their bread in the ovens.
They had bread back then. That's fun to know.
Oh, God. She's afraid.
That's a bee's nest.
It's not a bee's nest.
That's a
it's
bird's nest.
nest.
What kind of bird? Is it a finch?
Swallows.
Oh, a swallow. That close to the glory holes over there.
So this was all prison quarters.
Oh no. I'm having flashbacks of fire extinguisher. It's like I'm at the trophy all over again. Oh, I should probably not lean on that. Oh, I can lean on it. Casemate 5.
Which is...
Oh, sorry.
Let her hold it. You're worse.
No, I'm good.
So this is Casemate 5, which is probably one of our most famous paranormal hotspots. So during the Civil War, the Union prisoners were held here.
Okay.
Like I said, we had Union prisoners because Philadelphia had a lot of desertion, so there were Union prisoners held here. And it's also where I think we have our best public history teachable moment. Because for many years we told the story of Private William Howe in this room. And he was a veteran of the Battle of Fredericksburg. Some newspaper accounts have him carrying his troop colors off the field of battle. He enlisted voluntarily, so he's not known to be a coward. But after the Battle of Fredericksburg, he becomes critically ill with dysentery, which is like the worst diarrhea of your life.
I don't know. You ever been to... I don't know. I don't remember who our sponsors are anymore. Taco Bell.
He goes home to recuperate in the care of his family.
It's nothing better than shitting at home.
So he's recuperating at home in Perkiomenville, Pennsylvania. So how you get from Fredericksburg to Perkiomenville when you're critically ill with dysentery, I'm not sure, but he did. And about 6 months after he arrived at home, the enrolling officers dispatched to return him to his company to face court-martial for desertion arrive at his house in the middle of the night. They're not in uniform. A scuffle ensues and shots are fired, and one of them is killed. So now Howe has not only deserted, but he's also accused of murder. And he escapes initially, but is captured and is held here at Fort Mifflin, tried and convicted. He appeals the conviction, is tried a second time, convicted and sentenced to hang. So we told his story in here for the longest time, but it turns out he was also held in Casemate 11. So that is the area next to the powder magazine that we believe to be the British powder magazine, oldest part of the fort. And why do we know he was held there? Because he signed his name on the wall.
Love it.
So he was attempted escape here, was captured, and then taken up to Eastern State. So as a prisoner we share with Eastern State. And he was returned here to face execution. It was the last public execution on the grounds here. Tickets were actually sold. His family was here. It was pretty horrible.
They made his family buy tickets.
I don't know if they made his family buy tickets, but I know they were present.
That's harsh. That's harsh.
They sold tickets for it. That was the last time. There are other executions here, but that was the last public execution.
Set the rooster. We got to be up early tomorrow to go see Dad's, execution.
So August 1864.
Okay. And this is essentially a communal holding cell.
Yes.
And this is how they felt? Like people literally slept on this?
Yeah, no, these are like for scouts. So
Okay.
They did have...
Wait, people currently sleep on these?
Oh, yeah. Every weekend someone's sleeping over at the old fort.
Well, they do have the sleepover, right? You have
Right?
to-
No, I'm not kidding.
They sleep.
This room, in fact, when we do our siege weekend, which commemorates the battle that was fought here, this room is taken over by 1st New Jersey Loyalists.
Oh, this is pretty. I mean, it's really from the back. Like, lumbar is great, but like, people sleep on this now? Like, sleep on the sides.
Heather was the housewarming gift.
Oh.
So these cool holes in the wall, people always think that, it's a gun port, you'd fire your musket out, but it's actually called an embrasure. You see them in castles in Europe. They allow light and ventilation in, but it's defensively designed. They're wider on the inside and narrower on the outside to prevent a cannonball from coming in. A musket's only accurate to 50 yards, so you're not defending a fort with a musket. You're going to defend the fort with artillery.
Yeah.
So the people who sleep on, they sleep on here. I mean, I guess you put some padding down.
Yeah,
right?
or unless you're really like looking for the,
You-
the historically accurate experience.
So did the prisoners that they slept on the wood?
They
Not
would
just
have
the wood
they would have
here.
had straw mattresses,
Gotcha.
and during prison time, it would have been a very thin straw mattress.
So, all right, tell me about when the people sleep over for the tour. So, at one point, you lock them in here, like you.
We don't lock anyone in.
No, I'm just saying, like you can't do. Are they allowed to walk the grounds at 3 a.m.?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we do a public ticketed overnight paranormal investigation.
What is that?
October 22nd. A few tickets are still available.
Holbrook, I'm thinking a birthday present for you, brother.
Oh, it'd be a Fred Durst yacht party.
So, although we don't lock anyone in the casemates, we do lock the site gate, and we open it up only at specific times at night, and that is for everyone's security.
Is there working bathrooms in here?
No.
So you have buckets.
So during prison times, yes, you would have
No,
had, they would have had barrels.
People who sleep overnight.
So right now we're on porta potties, but they're cleaned out every week, and we have lights in them.
Oh, we saw them. We can vouch. They're clean, and that dude was working his
That
ass
guy
off.
worked hard.
Yes.
If you got dysentery, he'd be a great guy to call because those were great porta potties.
Shout out to Robinson Waste from
Yeah.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then there's scouts that do sleepovers. You can rent the
Boy
site.
Scouts and Girl Scouts?
Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts.
I can't imagine. Like,
Private groups of paranormal enthusiasts will do private overnights. And we do a number of living history events every year that have reenactors sleeping over as well.
how often do you have the year? Do you have the paranormal guys, which are mainly like around this fall?
The fort is haunted every day of every week.
Oh, I know that.
So,
I like her. I love her.
So actually, since
Except
the
for Thanksgiving and Yom Kippur.
Yeah.
Since the pandemic, that was really the first line of business that returned because by its nature, it's small groups.
Yeah.
So people felt safe and comfortable re-engaging with that. We've been on a number of pretty big exposure TV shows, most recently the Travel Channel's Portals to Hell, which has brought a lot of interest, and we have someone that attends
Was it for Fort Mifflin specifically or just Southwest Philly in general?
Fort Mifflin specifically.
Okay.
Well, see, Fort Mifflin gets you to Southwest.
It's not like
so
Fort
that's why
Mifflin Roberts or anything? Okay.
That's why it's the portal to hell.
Ah, right.
It gets
What
you
happens after you leave here, that's up to
You
you.
go to Oasis and make left.
Yeah.
It's the portal.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like the Star Gate.
Yeah.
The gate is not going to get you. It's what's on the other side.
Yes.
Okay, I get it.
So because the fort tends to be very active, I mean, of course, the activity ebbs and flows. We don't ever guarantee anything, but it's a large place. This is not a small historic house museum.
No.
So there are many buildings and rooms to explore and investigate. So we like to
Have
say
you-
Fort Mifflin never disappoints.
Have you ever had like a group of people like, just like we gotta go, we can't.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
we're done.
Has anyone peed themselves?
I've never personally witnessed that, so I can't speak to that.
Do people sleep in here?
I just
at
did.
the EDM concert?
No one.
No one can sleep here at all?
No. When we closed, we were closed.
Okay. Can I sleep in it next year?
If you buy a ticket, you certainly can.
Wait, I mean, for the festival?
No.
Oh.
No. We only let people sleep over when we have staff.
Right.
Like we're not letting people just kind of.
You hire them part-time for like a weekend? In September next year?
No.
No.
They're looking.
That's the earliest I've been denied a job a year out. So, okay.
I'm gonna take some shots over here.
So it'd be cool to get a shot out of the embrasure
Yeah.
to get a sense of like.
You're not going to attack us, UPS facility.
They've been attacking us for years. I'll have no idea. So this is the embrasure. It's crazy.
A lot of them were locked up, left over from like last winter when we, in order to make it warm enough to stay in here.
Yeah.
This up. And then the fireplace and the body heat. You still have a sense of winter camping, but it's warm enough. You know, you
I would
get your
imagine,
sleeping bag
yes,
is pretty
yeah.
cool.
The snakeheads ever come in
I mean, I'm not even that cold
Never
here.
seen-
I feel warmer than I did outside. So
Well, you're
yeah.
away from the wind.
Yeah.
And actually, the casemates are the last areas to cool down in the fall and the last to warm up in the spring because you're surrounded by all that earth and insulation.
Right.
We're not underground, we're within the walls of the fort.
That's right.
How's this place do during?
Insulation.
How's this place do during like severe storms like hurricanes and whatnot?
Well, we're
Solid
right on the
rock.
river.
Yeah.
The seawall is compromised a little bit south of the fort. The center of the parade ground is below sea level at a high tide. So, got our little New Orleans thing going on.
So it floods pretty
So you're
quickly.
saying compromised? It's don't be here when it rains a lot. That's pretty much what you're
Yeah, I
saying.
mean, the fort's built on Mud Island.
Yeah.
Just take that to the bank.
Damp.
Yeah.
Moist.
Moist.
Yes.
Wet shit.
Now I want chocolate chip cookies. So what was your most paranormal activity?
So I'm not particularly sensitive to the energy,
Okay.
but I'm open to it. And during the pandemic, it was early June, and I had just gone grocery shopping, and I was doing my shopping, my mom's shopping, this was like an ordeal. And I pull in at home, and the power was out. And I'm like, oh shit. So, you go on your phone and check PSE&G. This power is planned to be out for 48 hours. So I packed up my groceries and my dog, and I camped out in my office for a couple of days. And since being here overnight, I have had significantly more personal experiences, including hearing voices and coughing in my office. I have gotten out of my car and someone says hello to me when no one is there. There are all kinds of those sorts of experiences.
Wow.
I don't see things, but I do hear things.
That's kind of
That was the first signs for my bipolar disorder.
Is there anybody ever here by themselves, except when you slept over that one night? Is there always got to be at least a couple people here at a time?
Yeah, if someone is sleeping
Like during the hour,
yeah, absolutely. We always have at least one staff person here.
Okay.
One step, okay. This door looks very.
That is very old. It is not original to this space,
Okay.
but it is an original door to the site.
touch it.
Anybody ever get a job here, think this is like a cake job and get too spooked and left?
No, but we did have a guy who was a devout, profoundly non-believer of all of the haunted stuff. But guess what? If you're a tour guide here, you're telling all the haunted stories.
He was a ghost himself.
So he was leading a tour back by the blacksmith shop, which is where we introduced the presence of children who lived at the fort, because that is documented and people have heard children's voices. And it was an early tour in the evening. He's got about 20 people, including some families with young children. He was dressed as a Revolutionary War sailor, which meant he had slops on, which looks like culottes, like baggy pants. And he feels a kid tugging on his pants, and looked down and there was no one there. So he came back from giving that tour white as a sheet, said, I was touched. So the fort will make
Literally and figuratively.
the fort will make a believer out of anybody.
So so you were here during the pandemic. This place was still open for administrative
We
stuff.
reopened, of course we closed down when we were required to do so, but we reopened on the leading edge of being able to, like in May of 2020, with outdoor space only. We had no programming, there was no contact admission. You came in, you paid admission right from your car. We had people on staff to answer questions and stuff like that, but it was really just like a nature preserve at that point.
I would think that would be absolutely significantly more terrifying. 'Cause I mean, not only obviously this is great and really cool, but those planes are you notice them and they're very interrupted.
It was
much scarier, I assume.
it was very quiet.
With no
It was a
planes.
long time until the rhythm that we were all familiar with came back.
Did you miss the planes for a while?
No.
Okay.
No, you never stop hearing it, but you stop paying attention to
I was
it.
going to say, you just become like ear numb to the situation.
Yeah, you can't pay attention to it because you'd be disrupting what you're doing every 30 seconds.
Shockingly, this is I haven't heard one in 15 minutes.
But you probably also don't have cell reception in here.
Oh, that's good to know.
Ah, good.
She damn right. I said SOS in that thing. She ain't kidding. I should just block my kids in here when they don't listen. That'll solve their problems.
Dude, that would be amazing.
So, has anybody ever had everybody's had the ghost story, tugging on the shorts and all that kind of stuff. Any were more aggressive?
We don't have demonic presence here. I mean, there are some people that get really freaked out.
Sure.
And they want to leave. We had a guy leave in the middle of an investigation about a year ago.
So the actual investigator said, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We've
He
definitely
sucks at his job.
Yeah.
So we
Being a pilot
definitely
being scared of heights.
Well,
so we it's all energy, right? So, like, if you go into like a dark and creepy place or whatever, you feel the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Maybe you feel pressure on your chest, or you start to get nauseated. That's your body responding to an energy that your brain is not used to processing or understanding.
So it's not because I put a bloomin' onion on a Slacks pizza and ate it earlier.
Well, that could be too. I mean, you do you. So.
He's been doing himself for a while.
It's a hybrid situation for me right now.
So, you don't know. People who are really sensitive to the energy often have physical responses here.
Yeah, but nobody likes it. Oh, something jumped out at me and I ran.
People have been touched.
Oh.
People definitely
Well, no,
have
I'm
been
saying touched, I'll make
touched or
sense, like-
scratched. Or
Okay.
we actually had a guy on a candlelight tour a few years ago. It was like the last tour of the night. It was date night. He was out with his girlfriend, and he was not having any of this ghost stuff. Like, he was just not. He was a non-believer. And so they're walking out, and instead of being in a tight cluster, they had spread out, and he felt someone push him to the point where he tripped, and he turned around to yell at his girlfriend, and no one was there.
And he did not get laid that night.
So yeah,
Yeah, for real.
can we talk about that for a second? So the date night thing. So like, how does I get to sleep over?
Oh, you find your significant other, then you go out to a place and you do an activity you don't normally do.
Got it. I have to talk to my wife about that one.
Yeah.
No, but what is like the appeal to oh, you know what? Let's have a dinner and go get freaked out and it'll.
So there's actually science behind this.
Okay.
And it's really interesting. About 5 or 6 years ago, we hosted a wedding.
Really?
And we actually did one in August too. There's a few weddings a year here.
Holbrook's ruined some.
Mistakes were made.
This couple, one of the ladies was the creative director of a large haunted attraction, and the other one was a sociologist who has her PhD in the science of fear. But it's
We're only learning that exists right now.
It's really fascinating though, because there is a fine line with fear.
Oh yeah.
Up to a certain point, people perceive fear as pleasurable. Some people
Sure.
do.
Yeah.
So when you're designing a haunted attraction, you want to dance with that line. So that's why some people like to be scared. We don't pursue like a haunted attraction vibe here. We just turn out the lights and tell true stories, but by its nature, it can be a little scary. And some people who are sensitive to the energy might be a little bit more afraid than people like me.
So you're saying this could equate to a roller coaster ride for certain people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I just thought that was a really interesting way to look at it, is because it was something I was not aware of.
So these are really smart people that do. That's pretty crazy stuff. I mean.
What a match.
I mean, seriously, that's what it is. If you're all right, I'm trying to put an amusement park together. I just need to balance this.
Let me go get my fear expert.
Yeah.
Right. But
Who
but
was
for
also
real,
the person that
there are so many places that do these haunted scary hayrides or whatever. Like they want to be just on the fun side of that line, and they don't want to be over that line because no one's gonna, if people are there, they're so scared they're throwing up in the trash can on the way out. That's not fun.
Yeah. It's like something too spicy.
Right.
Or it's painful, it's not worth it.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking, I'm just going to tell you next time on my Facebook profile or Twitter profile, I'm just going to say Professor of Fear.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that on there.
Do you know which college they graduated from?
I don't, but I could probably find out.
That would be great because I am absolutely going to enroll in their
I
master's
didn't have a
program.
degree.
And
Yeah.
wait, and this wedding was when?
Oh my God, we
Several
can
years
go
ago.
to college
You
again.
can go to college.
Me and Kerri went to college together.
A
lot of people go to college for 7 years.
She's been interviewed all over the place. I mean, she's a renowned expert
And fear.
In fear, yes.
I'm wondering how do you
Like Freddy Krueger.
is it like when you go to med school, you're all right, I'm going to do this, and then you know what, fear's interesting, let me do that, nobody else is doing
I wish I knew that was offered. I guess I stopped reading at C for criminal justice.
it. Yeah.
Thought my parents were disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, she's actually a doctor. She has her doctorate.
In fear.
So she had to
She's
conduct
Dr. Fear.
original research. So I think it's just really interesting.
It really is. I mean, I want to read about this. I want to know who this person is.
Get him on the show.
I seriously would
We
need
need
them. Are they from the area? Do you know?
No longer. They've moved.
They got a phone. I bet.
Yeah, I got a phone, right?
Unless they fear it.
Yeah, maybe they fear the phone. That's interesting. Oh man, that just blew my mind. I don't know why, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and it's something I had never considered.
sorry, George,
because
I'm
I
sorry.
don't think it's fun to be.
Sorry guys, you're not that important right now. This is
You know they give
interesting.
degrees in fear?
Yeah.
Oh, whatever you want to show us.
Yeah,
You want to go? Let's go in the exhibit room.
Oh, I thought it was just
terrifying.
It's terrifying. That's
Those
why
people's
I'm.
attics are terrifying. I'm scared of it.
That's just storage.
Well, your storage is creeping me out, man.
Have you heard this place, lock, stock, and barrel,
Yeah, it's
burned
good
down
movie.
everything? So
Yeah, Jason Statham.
that's those are three parts of a musket.
Ah.
And if you ever
The
know
lock, stock,
someone
and barrel.
who's like, a bunch of like bravado, but really no substance, and they're called a flash in the pan.
Mm-hmm.
That's an accident that can happen with a black powder musket.
Oh, okay. Now, is this one of those, like, that they put around the thing, so, like, if they attack?
This is called a chevaux de frise. And there were a
Bless you.
series of chevaux de frise. And it looks like this.
Does that mean butt plug in French?
No, it means Friesland horses. So these are, you know how you see like those, they look like jacks thrown on a battlefield in like World War II movies? So they have their basis long ago in history. And this is an underwater obstacle designed to do the same thing. It's a 20 to 30 foot timber, topped with an iron spike, sunk in a box of rocks, pointed downstream, intending to impale a northbound British vessel.
Gotcha.
Probably not going to sink it, but it'll hold it stationary long enough to be fired upon.
So it's like when you go into the airport, if you try backing up, you're going to tear your tires.
Yeah. Treadles, damaged tires.
Yeah.
Yep, same thing.
Gotcha.
So,
I watched somebody do it. It was hilarious.
so over here,
This is also an original record.
Wow, how did they know it was going to last?
is this plate is believed to be from the Augusta, which is the largest British warship sunk during the war.
It's a big plate.
64 guns,
What's it made of?
pewter.
Pewter.
And then this bottle
how much
of
that thing worth
wine
now?
is, only as much as someone would pay for it.
Yeah.
So this bottle of wine is from the wreck of the Merlin, and it actually still has wine in
I was
it.
going to say. Wow. You get stupid drunk on that for that. Yeah.
Oh, you'd have to chew it. It'd be nasty.
I was going to say by now, yeah.
It'd be nasty.
Probably all sediment. Like you can actually see. Look, it's probably, it's half. It's like half evaporated.
Yeah.
You can see through the bottom if you look down. That's funny. Let's see if I can get that.
So
on
I
camera.
wasn't here when
Shot,
the donor
Yep, you
dropped
can-
that off. A volunteer was here, and he left it on my desk with a note that said, "Wine in bottles since 1777. Do not drink."
Well,
Then I'm gonna be like, all right, maybe we can call an ambulance because I was like, you don't tell me what to do.
So wait, the Merlin.
So each plate was that big?
No, that was probably like
a serving?
a special,
Okay.
I
was
don't,
gonna say,
I don't know. I don't know what it
Seems a
was.
little overkill even for a guy my size.
I've been hungry.
It's a lot of spaghetti.
Yeah.
Soul and soul
Yes,
chunks.
yes.
Okay. That's a heck of a musket.
That's what they all say.
Yeah. Oh, it's a bigger one. Oh, the 17th century folding tables.
Wow, the printers were so good back then.
This is where all the action happened, I guess, huh?
Top bunk.
You definitely want to hold over me on top.
Yeah. In general.
Yeah.
Oh, look, coat hangers.
Well,
You know, British had coats, dude. They didn't call them red coats for nothing. Right?
I feel like I've been wrong about 9 things in history.
Dude, I thought I knew history.
This is a vintage 1789 grill. I believe it was from Sir Arthur Weber. This is how the English would make their tea and crisps, and then America took it over and started grilling nothing but hot dogs, burgers, and America freedom.
Shit, it's like sinking. Look at
Yeah. You can see right there, there's an anvil. They named those after Jim the Anvil Neidhart, who was Bret Hart's tag team partner in the 80s. He had a crack addiction, by the way. According to Wikipedia, that's how I spent my lunch yesterday.
This is the tank from back in 1887.
They won this during the Korean War. They won it from General Yamaha. This was his actual ride. The MASH is actually based off the adventures and the shenanigans behind getting this.
MASH the show.
MASH the show and the movie
And the movie.
Yeah, Alan Alda himself commemorated and gave this in the 80s to. I'm sorry. I'm just putting it out there that there's certain liabilities that exist, and when you leave me alone with a fucking cannon, what happens?
Wow. What's it say on here? Wooden rain gutter.
Got a fucking cannon dick! Cannon dick!
Wait, I want that one too.
Fucking cannon dick! Cannon dick!
Oh, wait a minute. Look at the Commandant's house with a giant stripper pole in the middle.
Yeah, well, that's Chris.
Yeah. Commandy's titties! There's just a random chair on that. This is uneasy.
They have cameras everywhere. She hears you right now.
What about they do?
Hold on. That is how authentic that they have cameras in here.
Yeah. This is a creepy fucking place.
I don't like
Sir Reginald Kodak definitely created cameras for this place back in the day.
Sir Reginald Kodak.
So wait a minute, she did say the middle was sinking, right? That's why this place looks like it.
Was it sinking?
Ah!
Jesus Christ, you're gonna wake up the ghost, dude. I have a feeling there used to be another floor up there, or that is just a very inappropriately designed.
Well, that was what they were.
Oh, they got the stick hole
Would they climb that?
I don't think they did at all. I think it's just the way they got light in here.
I don't think we're supposed to be in here, but at the same time.
The door was open. She said as long as it was open, we could come
I feel like
in.
that's to keep it from collapsing.
Birds are like really close.
It's because they can fly where they want to.
They're angry because they're haunted.
Yeah, they're haunted birds.
There's a lot of strange stuff here. It's not always physical. It's a lot of psychological stuff. So maybe they react to it. I mean, I've had some strange feelings when I went home. Didn't feel so great.
They follow you.
Yeah, they follow us. It's hollowed ground. It used to be an island. The Delaware River came up to where we're standing. And back then in 1777, the British were angry and they came to resupply, and there was a huge bombardment. So it's hollowed ground, of course.
Right.
About 200 and over 250 American soldiers died in 5.5 weeks, and then it was a prison during the Civil War years.
So you've been here. You said 9 years. Your name is
Matt.
and you've been here 9 years.
Almost 9.
Doing mostly the tours. You said hired to do
Tours,
overnight
events.
ones, but
Yeah.
a lot of during the day and whatnot.
Yeah, daytime too. Overnight stayovers. Sometimes we have a wedding here and there.
Right. Yeah, we were just learning about that.
So-
What is the wildest thing you've seen here?
The wildest thing that I've seen
Oh.
is the lady who came here one time. They came from Virginia. It was a small paranormal investigating group. The lady was with the folks. She was considered to be a medium, I believe they call it. And they had asked me to come into the casemates. It was a little after midnight. And I was like, oh, shucks. I hope it's good, because I was thinking to go to sleep soon. But it was around midnight, and they said, come on over if you want. Come meet us. And they were in the casemates, and she walked outside into a light to show me a scratch from her neck. It wasn't bleeding, but it was a very interesting scratch. I couldn't see all of it because it actually went down apparently to past her shoulder blades. So they were trying to tell me that she didn't do it herself.
Yeah, it'd be a little
Seemed
hard to
pretty
reach.
believable.
I would have just made her take her shirt off just to make sure.
Yeah.
And they said that this happened around midnight.
She was having sensations and cold. She could feel coldness here. Yeah, this happened around midnight.
Okay, that's a little terrifying.
In 2017, after a wedding, I was the only facilitator here, and I made sure everyone was gone. The gate was padlocked shut. I was coming out to make sure all the doors were locked. Yeah, I had my keys in my hand, and I'm going to lock the door, and all of a sudden I felt a push, and the push was like below my knees.
They're trying to chop block you.
It was kind of like maybe
it's illegal.
it might have been like right above the knee, but it was like a push. It felt like hands pushing into me.
Really?
Yep.
So they do get a little
I could
frisky.
feel like I could feel.
They did say people have witnessed children, so maybe somebody's short of stature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a voice I heard.
Yeah.
Heard some voices, and just sometimes going home and not being able to sleep.
How about this? What got you into doing this, the paranormal or anything in general like that?
I had an incident some years ago where I woke up in the middle of the night, sort of, and I looked out the window and I saw a light, and I just had a sensation, and I actually felt, I don't know what you call it, but I felt someone sitting on the end of the bed.
Oh.
I thought it was my grandmother. She'd been gone for some years. I had a best friend in high school who passed away right when he turned 23. He's pretty young.
So it was like it was a feeling. It wasn't like malevolent or anything.
No, it was not malevolent.
Almost comforting, but like, what's going on?
Surreal, and the surrealness that's what made my heart palpitate.
Yeah.
I say surreal, but it felt nervous.
Yeah.
If that's being scared, then I felt my nerves. All I can tell you, my nerves were not good. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
And that drew me in, and of course, one of my favorite all-time movies is Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
He's literally
And Poltergeist. I like
Yeah,
them all.
who doesn't? All right, man. I appreciate your time.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
yeah.
Good luck tonight.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Yeah.
If there's something strange in your neighborhood, who you gonna call? If there's something weird and it don't look good, who you gonna call? That's right. I ain't afraid of no ghost. You're seeing things running through your head. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. I ain't afraid of no ghost. You know, busting makes me feel good. I ain't afraid of no ghost. You know, busting